officiating last weekend was right in the crosshairs, and I'm just wondering, did replay assist, which again is the New York City based office of the NFL officials who are watching the game and monitoring the game and chiming in about correcting certain rules, calls that were made on the field. Was that used less this weekend than the first 2 weekends of the playoffs? Because that sure looked like the way to me, Mike.
I thought in some cases it was overused. I mean, I guess if we go back to the Devonta Smith play, you look at that catch, and they were just like the rest of us. They were scrambling and had about 10 seconds to try to find the one shot that showed that the pass was incomplete, and they couldn't find it. So, therefore, they couldn't stop it, much just like Kyle Shanahan couldn't get a shot that he thought was conclusive enough to risk a timeout. And you know, they're like producers because they might have 20 different camera angles, but you've got to find the one in such a short period of time when the Eagles are rushing up to the line of scrimmage that they just couldn't find it in time, and they're not going to stop it. They can't stop it to try to find the shot. That's not within their rights. They have to see clear and obvious video footage that says that the call was wrong in the normal play clock time before the snap. And so it's kind of one of those deals where the Eagles win by going quick, and maybe that's something that you might have to look at because it doesn't seem really fair to me.
Because in college football, they'd have stopped it, right? College,
in a second.
Right.
In a second.
But so why?
I think maybe as much as you and I have talked about, you know, this eye in the sky judge,
right,
the video assist, the expedited review, I think in some ways it's not fair, and we need to look to make it fair. And maybe that's going toward the college system, that you are allowed to stop it on big plays where you don't know. And that's big play, fourth down, you know, in the first quarter. Fourth down play, change of possession, that was a huge play. So, you know, if I'm a Shanahan or any coach in any situation right now the way we have it, you know, I hesitate because New York has the opportunity to stop it themselves and change it themselves. So, you know, I don't want to risk a timeout if New York is going to stop it. So you've got that question that falls into it. Overall, the system is good, Rich, but, you know, it's still new how they're using this, but it still it brings up some inequities that I think need to be looked at.
And I'm glad you started with the Devonta Smith catch. It was basically the first big play of championship weekend and the first controversial replay, I guess, involved a decision of the weekend where the coach, Shanahan, you said, didn't throw the challenge flag or call a timeout to take a look at it and throw a challenge flag, and replay assist didn't chime in. And you're saying, again, the reason why they didn't chime in is they didn't get a shot fast enough, even though they're getting it in real time. And they're not allowed to stop it. They can't stop play to take a look at something yet. Is essentially what you're saying. Okay,
correct.
So then let's move a little more forward in the game. I know for a fact Skycam has its own feed, and I imagine replay assist would as well. How could they not see whether a punted ball hit the Skycam wire or not?
Well,
Mike,
I mean, first of all, yeah. I mean, the thing is, you have to see it hit the wire, right? You have to see it hit the wire.
But wouldn't the camera jostle? I mean, didn't the camera jostle? Wouldn't it? You know what I mean? If it hit a wire,
that's what it's. The camera didn't jostle. I mean, there was no camera movement. Now, they are not necessarily going to see that. We could from the truck, and there was no movement of the camera, which would be maybe the best indicator that it did hit the wire. But, you know, you watch the trajectory of the ball and you watch the reaction of the players, and you think that it would have, but, you know, they couldn't see it in New York in any of their shots. And you don't have camera shots focused on the wire. And we had 2 overhead cameras in that game. And so it's kind of one of those things. It's unusual, but everything about this past Sunday was unusual, it seemed. And that's kind of one of those deals. The rule was put in that you'd have a do-over if that happens. It
Right.
basically came because of the Cowboys scoreboard. That's when it was put in. But it's one of those where nobody. There's no official that's looking up at the flight of the ball. They're focused on the players and not the flight of the ball and the blocks during the kick. It's just one of those things that was weird that just couldn't be proved. But even as I speculated in the booth, the reaction by all the Eagles players sure made it seem like it must have hit the wire, but you just couldn't see it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.